Tank, he's good at setting traps. Has crazy power that he believes in. And has a great chin too because he's a guy. He'll let you get out punches, and he'll still be coming at you. And then once he catches you, it's
Greats. Crawford's one of the best switch hitters, I think, since Marvin Hagler, and one of the most skillful boxers alive.
He has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Errol Spence was left genuinely impressed, praising Terence Crawford's incredible preparation for his upcoming clash with Canelo Alvarez. Having shared a ring with Crawford before, Spence acknowledged his exceptional fight IQ and elite skill set. After watching Crawford's recent training, Spence couldn't believe the speed, precision, and masterful footwork on display. Terence looked like a predator in motion, sharp, explosive, and completely locked in. This version of Crawford is a dangerous threat Canelo cannot afford to overlook. Reflecting on his battle with Errol Spence, Terence Crawford spoke with respect for his former opponent. Known for his patient, calculated style, Crawford explained how he methodically breaks down rivals before unleashing a punishing flurry of punches to finish the job.
How hard does Spence hit?
He didn't hit that hard.
But he never caught you that clean. That was probably the best shot he landed.
No, he caught me a couple of times, but I was surprised at how hard he didn't hit.
Really?
Given that everybody say, oh, he's a big puncher, he's this. I think he's just a volume puncher. I think he just wears opponents down, just wear them down. I don't think, he has a one-punch knockout. He have power, but it's not like, boom, sleep. You know what I mean? I think it's like, bam, oh, boom, 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 boom. And then he just wear you down.
Right, yeah. That is a difference, right?
Because if you look at his career, you never seen him, knock nobody out with one punch. You never see him, dropping nobody with one punch. You already see him, wearing them down. That's why he goes so hard to the body, because he want to wear you down. Then once you get tired and once your body start weakening, everything started weakening. And those little punches that wasn't.
Former world champion and analyst Chris Algieri offered a pointed comparison between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Algieri noted that while Crawford has dominated and controlled nearly every opponent he's faced, Canelo has shown moments of vulnerability, what insiders call getting bossed. He highlighted Canelo's loss to Dimitri Bivol, where Bivol's size, jab, and discipline dictated the pace of the fight. Algieri believes Crawford's style, built on control, adaptability, and technical mastery, is exactly the kind of approach that has historically troubled even the best fighters, including Canelo.
Crawford, who do you think can be the boss that night? When you talk about these two guys, you talk about two guys. Number one, you can't boss me around.
Yep.
Two guys, you can't even look at me a certain way without me feeling some type of way. These guys now have set their sights on one another. Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, we know the weight difference, but we've seen Crawford, looks like he's coming up slowly to that weight class and kind of acclimating himself in real time. How do you see that fight playing out?
We're still pretty far away from that fight, and I'm going to hold my complete analytics on that, but I'll tell you this.
Contrast and compare, maybe not a pick.
But I'll tell you this. I've seen Canelo pushed around. I've never seen Terence pushed around. So when you talk about who's going to be the boss, I've never seen anyone boss Terence Crawford. I've seen Canelo get bossed. So that just psychologically when you think about that, and this is a fight where I flip-flop on both guys because there's so many good points. Yeah, but he's 168. Yeah, but it's Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. Well, yeah, no, this guy's beating this, but stylistic. Even he hits him on the arm. There's so many different things you can talk about. But from a psychological standpoint, who's fresher, who's meaner, who wants it more? That's going to come into play.
As a boxing fan, how much fun is it to see those two attitudes come together? It's kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object getting ready to collide.
I've worked a lot of Canelo fights, and Canelo fight weeks are great. He plays to the crowd really well. His fans are awesome. I'm thinking about the Caleb Plant situation. I'm thinking about the Billy's Joe Saunders situation.
Veteran commentator Max Kellerman delivered a balanced breakdown, pointing out that while both fighters have unique strengths, Crawford's recent performances give him the edge. Kellerman praised Crawford's timing, switch hitting, and knockout power, saying they've peaked in recent years. In contrast, Canelo, though still elite, has shown slight declines in speed and aggression. However, Kellerman acknowledged Canelo's size advantage could play a role in close exchanges. When weighing all factors, speed, precision, defense, adaptability, Kellerman leaned toward Crawford as the sharper, more complete fighter at this moment.
I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Okay. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov. So, and Canelo, though he has not stopped anyone in a while, we've seen he's a real puncher at 68.
As far as speed, who has a better speed?
You would imagine Crawford, given the fact that he is the naturally...
The dynamics of this mega fight are intriguing. Crawford is stepping into uncharted territory by moving up in weight, a move that can often sap speed and stamina. Meanwhile, Canelo, though seasoned at this division, isn't the same explosive force he once was. Recent bouts show him preferring a controlled pace over the relentless aggression of his earlier years. This shift could level the playing field, giving Crawford a real shot. If Crawford brings his best footwork, fight IQ, and endurance, he has a clear path to victory.
For Canelo, obviously at 168, he has been a bit of the smaller man at that weight class. And in the last couple of years has had trouble finishing opponents and getting guys out of there like he would have at 160 or 154. So you have a bit of a duality there. Both guys coming into this fight in the, let's say, twilight of their careers, or maybe twilight of their primes, however you want to look at it. Canelo is going to be, I think, 35. Terence is 38. So you have a similar situation, different paths, and different struggles for both fighters. But when you look at who has to do more in this fight, it's clearly Terence Crawford, as far as what he's giving up and sacrificing to win this third undisputed championship and to try to beat Canelo, who has only been beat twice in his career, one of which was Floyd Mayweather being slick and tagging Canelo with counter punches when Canelo missed, being the smaller, lighter fighter and up there in age that was still able to take advantage of the youth and experience of Canelo Alvarez, but also just being a defensive maestro and able to counter off of that. Floyd is one of one. And then you have Dimitri Bivol, who was the bigger fighter, and the things that Canelo does very well didn't really hurt him too bad, right? The things that had carried Canelo up in division was his power and the ability to break an opponent down, maybe not stopping them in the early to mid part of fight.
Rising star Abdullah. Mason expressed full confidence in Crawford, predicting not just a win, but an upset that will shock the boxing world. He believes Crawford's power, often underestimated, could surprise fans, arguing that his ability to generate force through timing, angles, and accuracy might be more dangerous than Canelo's raw strength. If Crawford lands clean shots consistently, especially in the later rounds, Mason's bold prediction could become reality.
Also, Canelo Crawford, your prediction quickly.
Canelo Crawford. I got faith that Crawford could take it. I got faith in Crawford. I feel like Crawford, he might surprise some people with his strength. So it all depends on who's the better fighter.
Dimitri Bivol, the man who recently defeated Canelo, gave high praise to Crawford. Observing him closely, Bivol said Crawford has added size and possesses the skills needed to win. Coming from someone who's beaten Canelo, his words carry weight. He highlighted Crawford's discipline, speed, and intelligence as the exact tools required to pull off the upset.
In Dubai, maybe a month ago, I thought he's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight, but there is a lot of but, and even not but, there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He need to get used to the power and pressure of 168, because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's awkward, he can use two boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
I was at that same event in Dubai just before Christmas, and I saw him too, and I thought exactly the same thing, which is that he is quite big.
Yeah.
Size obviously is important. Jamel Charlo stepped up from super welterweight to super middleweight to box Canelo, and it didn't work at all for him. But Crawford is, I mean, he's one of the best fighters in the world, isn't he? I mean,
Keith Thurman offered a detailed technical take, noting that while the matchup might look even to casual fans, deeper analysis tells another story. He pointed to Canelo's fight against Jermel Charlo, where intelligent movement and ring IQ caused Canelo problems. Thurman argued that Crawford, an even more strategic fighter than Charlo, could expose those same weaknesses on a larger scale.